Hello again. I'm now on to the second deck of the Super Strong Deck series. Hopefully the audio is a little bit better now. I don't know what's going on with my phone's microphone. My last recording, there's a lot of weird artifacting. But with this deck, the goal of this one is it's a Heaven's Gate blockers control deck. And it plays around a card called Heaven's Gate, which I will skip ahead to that card here momentarily. As soon as I can get this open. There it is. There we go. But Heaven's Gate, it's a classic. I know a lot of even English players know about Heaven's Gate. It was around for a long time. It came out a good, came out late 2005. It's like DM15, something like that, give or take, maybe 14. I don't recall exactly off my head, but in the early days, just skip straight ahead to Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate, this is the key card this deck's built around. It's a 6-mana shield trigger, and its effect is you can summon 2 blockers from your hand. So it just lets you cheat out some big blockers. The first card we're going to go over, this is Welkius. A very strong card. Before the release of this starter deck, funnily enough, this card was floating around like $10 to $15 each. And this starter deck then comes out $3, you get a whole play set of them. So that did a lot of good for Heaven's Gate. Its effects read, it's a 7,500 power blocker, double breaker, and then when you put this creature, or when one of your creatures wins a battle, draw a card, then you may put a creature that has a blocker from your hand. So oftentimes this can start chaining where you summon this and then you can summon another one, you can summon some other blocker or so forth. And most of this deck's blockers, so you have a good chance of drawing more blockers off the top. At least it's over half. The next card we're going to go over, this one, I believe it's called White Wisdom, White Knight Elemental, something like that. Has a blocker, a triple breaker. When you put this creature, you may shieldify the top card of your deck, which shieldify is put in basic cards from deck to shields. And then if you do, put the top card of your deck on top of that shield face up. So you'll have one shield. So let's say this is my deck. This goes on top. And then this goes on that shield. When that shield's broken, both cards will go to hand. And then if any triggers, you'll play the triggers. So it's a stacked shield, one of which will be known, the other is unknown. The next card on this deck is a Twin Pact, which it's a combination of creature and spell. You get to choose what half you're playing. The creature half is a blocker double breaker, and then at the end of each of your turns, you may put a non-evolution light creature that has a blocker from hand. Then its spell effect is kind of like a Heaven's Gate. It's put a non-evolution light creature that has a blocker from hand, and it's just 5 mana. So that can start the chain early where, let's say you've done a ramp on like turn 3 or something, and then turn 4 you're able to play this, summoning a Welkius, which is then summoning basically either him or whoever else, which then end of turn will summon someone else. And it just gets that chain going where you puke out a whole board of blockers. This next card, Saint Kaiser, and then I believe a Libra Shield is a spell half. This one's creature half is blocker double breaker, as you'd expect. And then its on-put effect is you may choose one of your opponent's creatures and shieldify it. So it has a miraculous snare effect. You'll put one of their creatures to their shield. This one's Holy Flash Guardian. This is kind of like a Holy Awe to an extent. Shield trigger, blocker, and then when you put this creature, tap all your opponent's creatures. You could summon it for 9, oftentimes you're cheating it out instead, or you hope when it's in shield. Key card of the deck. Shield trigger, put up to 2 non-evolution light creatures that have blocker from your hand to the battlefield. Just get these out of the way. I love this one. This is Balmad Romanian, or Romayon. I keep saying Romanian, but there is no N. It's like Romanian without an N. And then the effect has X-Life, which is a very common mechanic in Japanese Duel Masters. X-Life is when you put this creature, you'll put the top card of your deck as a shield. I normally indicate it near him. And when this creature would leave, you can put the shield to the grave instead. So you can sack the shield to protect it. And then it has blocker Triple Breaker. When you put this creature, you get to return up to 2 spells from your grave to your hand. So he gets back stuff like the Twin Packs. They count as a spell. Or like Heaven's Gate. And when this creature attacks, or when the X-Life shield leaves, you may cast a spell that costs 8 or less from your hand for free. So, there's a few combos you can do in other decks where you cast in spells that then interact with its own X-Life to then just keep doing it again and again. In this deck, you'll mainly be using it just to free cast more Heaven's Gate or more ramp spells and so forth. Our next card, this one's Velvet Flash Priest. And it's fairy power as the Twin Pack side on the spells. Creature side, it's a blocker. Your opponent's creatures are put in tapped, and then it has Double Breaker. So as long as this is on the field, anytime they'd summon, it'd go in tapped. Or your opponent's creatures will go in tapped, so that then your blockers can make easy work out of them. The spell side is a ramp. You put the top card of your deck to your mana. If that creature has 6,000 or more, you get to draw a card as well. So if it ramps, you're casting this, you're ramping this one, you will then get a draw card as well. This next one's going to be another Twin Pack. You'll notice a trend here. This is also our first creature without blocker, I believe. It's Friend Giant and Take Back Charger. Friend Giant's a Double Breaker, and then when you put this card, you get a ramp up 2. So the top 2 cards of your deck go to mana tapped. It's 11k body. The spell side, you may choose an element, which is loosely defined as like any card type, so creature, cross gear, Thomas Seed, so forth. So you can just choose a card that costs 3 or less and put it into its owner's mana zone, tapped. So you can target your own stuff, you'd rarely ever do that, or you can target your opponent's cards and just put it to their mana. After this card is casted, like all other chargers, it will go to your mana zone. Next up, we've got Warner Giant, Long Hit Run, Twin Pact. Another one that doesn't have blocker, but it's Triple Breaker. When you put this creature, choose one of your opponent's creatures and put it into their mana zone. And then the spell side is kind of like a Fairy Life without a trigger. You just put the top card of your deck to your mana. Turn 2, turn 3, you are mainly playing stuff like this just to ramp up, so that you can then play stuff like your Heaven's Gate or the spell side of this to get in more blocker spammers. Here comes the last card of the deck. This one's kind of like a search card. It's Huge Blueprint. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Put all 7 or more, any that cost 7 or more, to your hand, and then put the rest to the bottom. So like if you... Almost everything, let me see if there's anything that fails. I think the only thing that fails is Heaven's Gate. Everything else is a creature that costs 7 or more. Other than itself. So it and Heaven's Gate are the whiffs. Everything else will go to hand. But overall, Heaven's Gate has a lot of different directions that you can take the deck in. This stock build, I don't see too many that are just... Well, this does have fire, but like Fire Nature, you have a lot of many other directions to go. The Giants are more so the part that is a bit abnormal, but overall the deck still functions insanely well. And you could go any direction you want. There is hundreds of viable blockers, and you can just find some blockers you like a lot and build your deck around those blockers. This starter deck one's pretty basic. It gets you some ramp, and then a lot of big blockers to cheat out. And it definitely serves its purpose for a $5 deck. It is way stronger than any $5 deck should be. Hopefully the audio is a little better this time around. During my test in between videos, the audio improved, but I won't know for certain until I see the audio here. I'm just going to show a quick look of these since I haven't shown these yet. Showing off some of the key cards of the deck. On the website, there is also a guide for how to use the decks and what cards they suggest, turn 1, 2, 3, and so forth. But thanks for watching. I'll get the other two out here shortly.